Hello, my fly curious friends. Fred here from North 40 Fly Shop in Great Falls, Montana, showing you a couple of my favorite seasonal streamers and tying one up. Come September, this brown and yellow color scheme of the fly I call the fallback is hard to beat on our Montana rivers and streams. Think of it as the color scheme of a mature brown trout. As the seasons turn towards spring, the spring forward comes into play, and it mimics the coloration of a mature rainbow trout. So that's what we're going to tie up here right now. Start out with my number 2 sized 90 degree 904F NU jig hook, laying down a thread base with some olive 140. And bring that back up and secure some eyes on here. You can use dumbbell eyes or the hourglass barbell style eyes, and I'm going to use some red barbells. My placement slipped on me a little bit there. There we go. These have a fairly wide stem, so you can get some good crank and thread pressure on one side and then get them slid over to the other. And I like to circle them a few times and get some more figure eights going on in there. And you can certainly glue these down with a little Zap-A-Gap if you want to. Just make sure they're square on there. And then we're ready for the rest of the fly, which we're going to start with the tail. I've just got a little center of marabou here that looks pretty good, so we're going to go with an olive tail. I just measure that out right to the crook of my vise there, but we want it to be about twice the length, 1.5 to 2 times the length of the hook shank. I like long flowing tails, gets lots of action. Then we're going to add just a little accent on this tail, and I'm just going to use some red Krelex. Just fold a little around my thread. Tie that out the back. Trim it to length on one side, and then we'll just rotate and do the same thing on the other. Then we're going to tie in some red brassy ultra wire out the back. That's going to secure our hackle. And then for chenille, we're using some Red's olive and red colored. I'm going to tie that out the back. And then go ahead and palmer this forward. Actually, I need to add my legs. So on the front here, we're going to add just a couple of black round rubber medium. And I'm just going to fold those around my thread right at the eyes. And then just get a couple turns back to secure them in. I sometimes tie this fly without the legs. You can always tie the legs in and then pluck them off if you don't want them. They definitely slow the sink rate a little bit, so sometimes if I want to fish this deeper, I'll get rid of the legs, but they definitely add some nice action. And I'm just going to fold those forward just to hold them out of my way. Get a little thread over the top, and then we'll palmer this chenille. A lot of static in here this morning. So when I get up to my legs there, undo that, I've got room for one turn right in front of the legs, right off the eye. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and come right over my chenille, but I'm not going to cut it off yet. We're going to save that. Then I've got Just a good old grizzly saddle hackle here. Pick out my tie-in point, and I'm going to go with the nice long fibers up here at the top, and we'll tie that in. Right here behind the eyes. Then I'm going to go ahead and use my bobbin cradle. And we're going to get one turn behind the eyes, and we're going to kind of work it around our rubber legs, and then just carry it on back. And when we get all the way to the end here, we're going to grab our wire. Capture that stem and just rotate it on through. Got to work around those legs a little bit. And right up to the eyes. Couple turns over that wire, and you can helicopter it off. I'm just going to go ahead and use my scissors, which is not awesome, but works, cuts it right clean. Then we're just going to finish up with the chenille here, just going to figure eight that right around the eyes. Just going to get my hackle out of the way. And then tie it off. I like to get my whip finish right on the edge of that jig hook, and then I can just take my fingers and just make sure that thread's pushed right to the edge. Come through, we'll trim off the chenille. And then to secure this, I'm just going to take a little drop of thin Zap-A-Gap and just touch it right in there. This stuff is really thin and it absorbs. If a little bit goes back into the hackle or to the head there, that'll just secure it nicely. But that's a wrap. Just got to trim off my stem. And we have the spring forward and the fall back.